I'm a typical teenager, as you can see though. Um, yeah. Uh, and my name is Simone, for those of you who doesn't know me yet. And yeah, I just made this video to just encourage you to just be who you are, because everybody's anyway gonna judge you. So yeah, I know it's difficult to be a teenager these days. It's not the same as though it was when your parents were teenagers. And I get that, I totally do. Things are really difficult in this time, and I just feel like, you know, just to tell my story, and I hope it really touches someone's heart, and just, you know, um, I don't know, you guys maybe have heard stories of people's lives that change, you know, um, but I hope that it kind of makes sense in a way. Yeah, so whatever. I just felt like doing this. So whether I know there are a few of you, whether you're in school or you went to the church which I went to, which mouths go like this and yapping all about everything and everybody. So yeah, here's something to wap about. So rather, you know, talk about the truth than talk about the lie, because I won't fall and I won't break down. Not anymore though. So please, whatever suits your mind, go ahead. So yeah, if you want to talk about me, at least talk about the truth. Point being. So yeah, my story, it begins at 5. Obviously I was born, but at 5 I gave my heart to Christ, and I've been walking the path, yeah, since I was 5. And yeah, I grew up in a Christian home, which both my parents, they served God, and it was amazing just to know just to know that you're accepted and you're loved, and you know they are there to just comfort you in times which is hard, and in times that you feel like you're struggling, and you know, even though at that age, they teach you the foundation of the true you, and I really adored that. And yeah, so life went on, and I started to hear God's voice, and I was about 7 years old when I got myself baptized, and the Holy Spirit just, ever since that, it just came talking to me, and I heard it, and I heard God knocking, and many of you guys won't believe me, and that's okay. But yeah, so as life changes, and I grew older, things get tough, the influences get rough, and so it came to a point where my parents, they decided to get divorced. Actually, not my parents, one of them, my father, he left us. Um, and being a teenager, being 14-year-old and without a dad, it really made it difficult. My dad left us in when I was grade 8, so which means 4 years ago. But 5 years ago, when I was grade 7, I struggled with depression. And those of you who struggle with depression, I really get it. It's difficult in times where your emotions takes over, and you're in this spiritual battle which you have no clue to what to do, and you're just here on earth doing whatever, and you feel like you don't fit in, you don't feel like I belong, and you're then high, then you're low. I don't know, there are many kinds of depression, postnatal, which I think is the worst. I read it somewhere because I've been doing research last year about it. But yeah, as from that, I struggled with depression, and I had it all going for me. So I decided to take my life when I was 12 years old. So my mother, she went the day out to preach at a group of people, and I was home with my dad and with my brother. And I have a little brother, for those of you who doesn't know. And I got myself ready. I took I'm gonna spare you guys the details, but so I tried to take my life twice, and I just couldn't do it. Well, otherwise I wouldn't have been sitting here, would I? But I tried to take my life a few times after that as well. First I started cutting myself, and it became worse, and I just started lashing out upon my parents, and I pushed away a lot of people in my life, and I've cut them off until one day something just broke me. A year after my depression started, my dad left. He left my mother because my mother is in the church, meaning she's a preacher, and so forth. The people were the church people. I know it's mean to say the church people, but when I mean the church people, I'm talking about the people who were in my life at that time and at that moment. And some of them really, how can I say, they really they encouraged me to, walk the path, and it was difficult. It was difficult to stay at God's feet. It was difficult to just, keep on pushing through, and sticks and stones may break my bones, but I'm going on, and it's just not that easy. So for those of you who went through parents which is divorced, I know how it feels, and I've been there. And those of you who are still struggling with depression, guys and girls, strongs, you can get through this. I promise you can get through this. If you want to, you can get through this. If you want to make a difference, if you want to be happy, if you want to feel that you're free, it's just a mind thing. It's just something in your mind that you need to change. It's just a shift. And if I were you, I would start doing it today, because today I'm free, and I'm so grateful. Further in my story, in grade 8, my dad left, and for those of you who feels the same way, I feel like a dad's role within a household is to protect, is to love, to tell you who you are, and lay the foundation of the woman who you're supposed to be someday, and giving you over to a guy who wouldn't mess with your heart, and just love you for who you are, and just truly being a father who cares, who protects, who loves. And that just kind of scattered my picture of guys overall. So for a long time I began making really, really bad decisions. I went to church though, obviously. Every Sunday I sat there looking all happy chappy and being the church girl, and everybody just, they just saw me for being the preacher's kid, and they just saw me for who my mother was. And I came to a place in my life where I just like, you know what, I don't want to be just the preacher's child. I want people to see me who I am. So in order for everything that's been influencing me, and friends and so forth, I literally started making the baddest, the worst decisions of my entire life. Although I had the foundation and I just always found my way back to God, I slipped very often. I saw God, if I can say that. Yeah, it's freaky, you guys maybe you won't understand, but there were many times in my life where I saw Christ. I saw him with my eyes, and it was not a dream. It was not my imagination, it was Christ. But I will go into that another day. But yeah, so from the divorce, from being the church girl, from making bad decisions, I ended up with one guy to the next. And girls, for those of you who went through the same thing, it kind of makes you feel you're not worthy. I know, when your dad leaves, or when a parent leaves, it makes you feel disconnected to life. It makes you feel that you're not worthy. It makes you feel that you're not perfect enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not, decent enough, you're not worthy to be loved. And that's just a lie. That's just really such a big fat lie. Because you are worthy to be you. You are worthy to be loved. You are worthy to be a girl with emotions. So yeah, I ended up being really, really in an emotional state. Because one guy to the other didn't make me feel special, because they just, like my father, it felt for me like they don't want me as well, so they just left. And yeah, and I really hope you catch my drift there. But yeah, so within those decisions, I've met a few guys and a few girls, which became my friends, and some of the guys more than friends. But yeah, and then I started drinking and smoking and do all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard stories about this in terms, oh, good, and oh, gosh, he met Christ, and da 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 da. Well, this is not how it goes. Yeah, so that was 3 months ago, when I made really bad decisions. I still do. I hear God's voice, and I still see Him, and I still see His angels floating around in my room, and I still have an open heaven. Nothing has changed. Nothing has ever changed. And I kept on worshiping God until 2 months back. I kind of gave it up. I kind of gave up everything. I just came to reach a point in my life where things got too hectic. We were literally pushed out of church by gossip words. So then it just became me and God and my room. Yes, stuck in 4 walls, just being here. So in that terror of my mind and every emotion, which can ever, meld inside your head, I went through that as well. And depression kind of hit me again for about a year and a half. Yeah, and 3 months back is where I made decisions about, I just don't want to do the Christ thing anymore. I don't feel like Jesus anymore. I don't feel like, being the good girl, doing all the good stuff, and, I just didn't like me, who I was, because of what I thought I would be, because I thought I would be better if I, do certain stuff, and yeah, man, I don't know, but I just want to encourage you today, to just be who you were created to be, and don't conform to the world, because you're not of this world. I don't know whom of you know this, but you're in this world, you're not of this world. Yes, your parents may have had communion, and there may be a sexual transaction between the two, and then you popped out, but seriously though, if you really think about it, where do you came from? God made you. And girls, you're perfect just the way you are. My life's not perfect, not at all. For those of you who thinks I just have it going easy for me, you have no idea what I've been through. So before you judge, know the story. Before you gossip, ask. Before you open up your ears, feel. And girls, for those of you who feel guilty about what you've done, it's not about you. If you feel guilty about whatever situation and everything that you've done with, let's say, for instance, for a guy, you make mistakes. I'm not qualifying it, and I'm not saying is right. I'm not justifying it. But I know the guilt's there, the shame's there, and you can't do anything about it. But there's something that you can do. There's something that you can do. And that's just to give it to God. Just give it to God and let Him sort it out by Himself. And I know many of you, feel like, oh, no, again, a Christian thing, again, somebody who tells a testimony, again and again and again, is all that we hear. But what does it really mean? What does this speech really, really mean? So let me tell you one thing. Though I grew up in a Christian church, in a Christian house, sorry. Well, in a Christian church as well. I literally feel like I've been there all my life. It's not about in which church you belong to. It doesn't matter what you've done in your life. You have the right to be you, and you have a right to feel worthy. And for all that, I just want to quickly share with you guys another story. I know it's getting long, and you're listening, everything to my boring voice, but hey, it's me. You gotta love me. I just want to tell you guys that the main reason why I did this video is just so that you can see my face, because there would be a lot more videos coming up in the next few days, because this is what I'm supposed to do. And the main reason for this video is just to tell my story, because of the upcoming stories. It would be in more detail about my life and what happened to me as a young girl, and things that I've learned. And if you guys want to if you guys want to know and you want something to talk about, at least talk about the truth. Because I'm sick and tired of people, who's just gossiping about lies. I mean, like, really? What you want to do with lies? It's not going to bring you in heaven, is it? Yeah, that's just about it. But, so, the main goal of this is to reach your heart and just to, be there. And if you guys, struggle with depression and you either are going through, the process of parents who's getting divorced, or in any other way, feel like, guys as well, you can always talk to me, and if you have questions, ask. I won't say I have everything. I won't say I have all your questions, but I know I can help, and with God on my side, we can surely help. But for the upcoming videos, it's my heart is for women and for girls. So guys, sorry, I'm just gonna skip you for a moment there and just leave you on the side for a while. Mostly the next few videos is going to be about poems that I wrote. Yeah, but anyway, that's my story.